Hey, what's up? In today's video, we're going to have a look at my favorite way of hosting and using custom videos specifically for Webflow websites, since that's the platform I use. I assume if you click this video, you're a Webflow user as well. If you're not, you don't have to click away. This exact solution will work for your non-Webflow websites as well. So a use case for Webflow, for example, is if you want to have a custom video player in your project. Just a normal, as we call it, HTML5 video player. So it's an actual video tag with a source element inside that has a link to an MP4 in this case. Great if you want to have some sort of auto-playing background video, because the native Webflow background video has quality issues and it's just not very nice. And this one gives you much more control over what to do with it exactly. So the service that we're going to use is called Bunny. And the name Bunny is just because they want to have sort of an approachable brand. The video is not sponsored, by the way. I just genuinely love this service. It is fast. It's super easy to set up. It is super cheap. I'm even going to show you two example projects with costs and breakdowns of the traffic so you can get a sense of what it'll cost roughly each month. And it's going to be near to nothing for most of your projects. So I have already gone ahead and created a fresh account just to show you guys what it would look like if you would be new here as well. Of course, there is going to be a link in the description to the service that you can use to get started. And as you see, once you're on the overview page, there's a bunch of things going on. But the main thing is that you'll have a 14-day free trial in which they will give you $20 of free credits. So more than enough to get your project set up, implement it during development, and later on add some billing information so you can start paying a lot less than that every month. So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to head to the storage tab. This is, as the name suggests, well, the place where you're going to store your files. And if you use this for a client project, this is where you will ask your client to update and upload their video files. So we're going to go ahead and create our first storage zone. I'm going to call this an example project. And I typically tend to choose the Edge CDN over here. It is optimized for ultra-high global performance, powered by strictly SSD storage. And the cost differences are minimal. And from experience, I can tell you picking this one is really not going to cost you a lot. Their main storage region is Europe-based in Frankfurt. That's the default one. It's an EU-based company. I'm not sure if I had mentioned that before. And they will sometimes pre-select a bunch of so-called replication zones. What these replication zones mean, basically, is that any files that you upload, any videos, are going to be replicated on their servers on these locations. Meaning that, for example, if you replicate it to Singapore, a client that might be in Australia will have their the file served from this server, and therefore it will be much quicker. Depending on where you are, where your clients are, you might want to pick, whatever replication zones, but you don't need this. I believe in most projects, I even just have the main one, just that. And maybe if you have like tons of US-based clients, you might want to pick, for example, the New York replication zone. And we'll see now that our monthly storage cost comes at about 4 cents per gigabyte. So for most websites, I'm sure you're not even going to get to a gigabyte of storage for videos, since you want to keep all your videos small and snappy and light. So yeah, you can get a sense of how cheap this is. Like if you will have a 2 megabyte video, I can't do the math out of the top of my head, but it's going to be like at least 2 decimals in between here. So nearly free. I'm going to add this storage zone, and it's going to say there are no files yet. And in this example project, we have the ability to upload folders or upload direct files. So depending on your use case, you might want to start organizing in here, or if you're going to have just a few videos, you can directly upload into here. Before I'm going to add any videos, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next step of setting up Bunny, because I also want to go over video compression. That's a step that's really important. So we're going to leave this as is for now. That's storage. Done. Now we go to the CDN zone, and the CDN zone is the pull zone basically. And this is the thing that's going to make sure that you'll get a link that will take from your storage zone and actually serve it over a CDN, which is a content delivery network, basically a direct link to a file, so you can use it. We're going to create our first pull zone. And this is, as you see, is going to directly create a link on Bunny CDN net. So I'm going to again call this example project. It is available. Okay, nice. Example project.bunnycdn.net. And here we can choose an origin type. Now, what you want to do is switch to storage zone. And from the dropdown, you can now select example project. So this is the one that we just created, which is important to why you want to create the storage zone before you head into the CDN tab over here. Now, there is a couple tiers that you can pick from. So the standard tier or the high volume tier. I typically just pick this one because you don't have to worry about extra pricing zones here. And it's super cheap, it's super fast, and I typically don't experience any delays in, in delivery. So I'm going to add this pull zone, and that's it already. This is a whole lot of technical things that you can get into about caching security. Really interesting if you want to dive into it, but all not necessary to get started. So I'm going to head back to storage because that's almost it. We're going to click our project, back to this screen, if you remember. And now we want to upload our first video. When you're working on a website, it's really important to keep all your files as small as possible. If you already know this, you might want to skip ahead to the next chapter because this is going to be about compressing your MP4 files. But if you're quite new to this, this is really interesting and also really important to educate your clients on before they are going to start uploading 4K videos in hundreds of megabytes worth of this onto the project. That's not what you want, right? So I suggest if you want to have sort of a large background video, keeping it at maximum 1080p. So that's like 1920 by 1080. That's typically the largest file size in terms of actual pixel size that I upload, resolution. And then what I tend to do is that I go to this potentially sketchy looking website, but this works great. It's called videosmaller.com. There's going to be a link in the description as well to this one. And I typically just upload any MP4 that I exported from, say, Premiere or After Effects into this service. I make sure that low compression level for the best quality is turned on, and the remove audio from video is also on. I typically upload the video, and then it'll give an output file that you can download. And generally, it's about 90% of a file reduction. So that is great. I have already, if I head back to my storage zone, done that. So in my Finder here, I have a video that is 1440 by 900 pixels. It's only 4 seconds and 400 kilobytes. Really nice and small video. I'm going to upload that thing. Typically is super quick. There we go, 100% completed. I can switch between smaller grid or the list view, whatever view you pick. If we take the default one, you'll want to head to the settings and click copy URL. Now, if we open that URL, we're going to see that it is the pull zone name that we just created on the Bunny CDN and a direct link to this file. And if I open that, I now instantly have a working MP4 video file. And this URL is what we can use in Webflow. So if I head back to my basic HTML5 video player, one that I've created using the custom element from Webflow. So I have a video tag, and inside is my source tag. And the source tag has a src attribute pointing to this very video. And that's it basically. You now have a background looping video. This is going to be a clonable on my account, also linked in the description, if you would like to have these custom elements, for just a basic background video. Now, basically, that's it. We're up and running. So I'm going to open up some projects of mine so you can see the actual costs in practice for actual projects. All right. I open up a new account. Well, not a new account. I logged into an account of mine. Lots of numbers here. If you're new here, I am co-founder of Osmo Supply, which is also going to be linked in the description. But we have tons of video content on our platform. So if I look at the statistics from last month, so this is the month of May, the full month of May, we have served over 300 gigabytes and almost 1 million requests onto our CDN. So tons of videos were requested. We have compressed all of these nicely, as I showed in the previous step. And the nice thing also about Bunny is that typically have super high cache rates. Wow. So this is great. That means the content is being cached, and whenever a visitor checks the content again, it doesn't have to reload that video from the CDN. You might think, okay, that's a shit ton of bandwidth and lots of requests, almost 1 million. The average response time is 0.1 second. Amazing. And we can see even like the distribution of all the data center traffic that we have here. We have a couple of replication zones, and not all of them are clicked. And I'd suggest you pause the video now for a second and sort of do a guesstimate of what this would cost every month, okay? Because if we check I know that none of you are actually going to pause it, but if I'm now going to check the actual, where is that? Oh, I need to remove myself here. If I check the actual billing, the monthly usage for May 2025 was $1.61. That's it. I can't think of any nicer to use platform, personally, that is this cheap, this easy and fast to set up, and this reliable and fast. I mean, the interface is super easy to explain to clients. Imagine client makes their own account, gives you the credentials, you set up the storage zone and the CDN, and then later on the client can just upload MP4s to the storage zone, copy the URL, and maybe use them in the CMS. And it will cost only this little. Super easy sell to your clients. And now I'm going to open up a client project of mine that serves way more. I logged into their account now, and in the very same month of May, this client has served over 3 million requests and 5 terabytes of data almost. So way higher volume. This client is on a different tier, and we have multiple replication zones, also multiple pool zones. So that means the cost will add up, of course, because we're adding sorts of cents to our gigabytes. The average response time for them is 0.024 seconds, 24 milliseconds, so like almost instantly. This is really great. It's very important for this client, so they want lots of volume and super fast. And now this client pays a little more. So if we check out their balance, for example, the monthly usage for the month of May was $24. Still, personally, I think for a website that serves, like 5 terabytes of data to 3.2 million requests, I think this is mega cheap. Definitely was an easy sell for the client as well, to have like reliable video hosting for them, for the marketing department to upload new video content as well. So that's sort of 2 ranges of projects. I typically think that most of your client projects will probably fall into the first tier, and your client is really looking at near to 0 costs. And so that's amazing. With this setup, I figured I want to show you guys, do sort of a cheeky little plug of the platform that I'm a co-founder of Osmo Supply, but to show you guys a nice use case for why having reliable video hosting could be super suitable for your projects. So sometimes you might have a module with like background video playing cards that you only want to play on hover, or maybe only once it gets into the view. So you can really get like even higher, faster page load speeds, because you don't have to immediately serve the video as the page would load, which is the case if you use the Webflow background video element. Lots of words, but this element here, if we open up inspect element, and I'm going to refresh just to be sure, we see that we have a resource here that will load the video source, so the actual CDN link that we copied, onto a div. And then if we open up this thing to check out the video, the source tag is empty. So it's basically a incomplete video. meaning that the website will only load the images and doesn't have to load any video content yet, but only, and check this out, if I start hovering, it will dynamically pull the source from the parent into the video and only then start playing. And we see that even instantly hovering, it immediately starts playing the video. So both proves how fast Bunny is, but also proves how nice this can be to like improve your page speed for interactive videos. If you're a member, and you can become a member by using the code Osmo10, so I'm not like only doing this plug at the end of the video for my sake, but you can become a member and try this with a big discount. And if you can copy the structure to Webflow yourself if you want, I can demonstrate if I would do that into the project, if I would add it to my section. We now have, well, it's duplicating some classes because I already had it, but it pulls in this nice element here. If we follow the next steps, it is to add this custom JavaScript. So I'll copy that to my clipboard, head to, we'll do it at the bottom here before body tag, open up some scripts, close them, paste this in between, and that should be it. I can go ahead and remove the initial video card that I had, so we'll just work with the new one. We'll add some custom CSS. We can do that maybe in this embed that I have here. Save and close. And that should be it. So that was all three steps. So now, if I play this and enable custom code, thanks to Webflow's new update, if I start hovering, it will dynamically pull the source from the parent into the video tag. So if you would like to have access to this resource, for example, if you see a use case for your projects, or maybe some of the 80+ other effects that we have in our vault, you can become a member by checking the link below in the description and use the code OSMO10 during checkout. I'm going to wish you all a wonderful day and hopefully see you in a next video.